Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's impromptu live session. I'm so excited to talk to you today about the force that has healed my life, the force that breathes us all, the force that is pouring through you each and every moment, and the force that will, in today's lesson, help you to grow your profits. So, I've been teaching business for the past couple years, and in the past couple years, what I've seen is some recurring patterns, recurring themes, and recurring issues with a lot of business owners. Whether you're just starting your business or you're very far along in your business, I think one of the most common things that are missing when it comes to problems in our business, one of the things that is missing, is the force of love. And I don't think a lot of business owners have been taught this elemental skill of really using the power and force of love in a practical and grounded way to do work that you love, to make it so that your business isn't a source of stress, and to make it so that this entire experience of doing your life's work becomes an effortless flow that not only benefits your customers, but also benefits you. And not only benefits you and that you're going to get lots of profits, your profits will grow when you learn how to use the power of love. It also benefits your customer. And so today in our session together, I'm going to give you an overview of what I'm calling the love force method. I've been not teaching. This is my first time teaching this, but I've been thinking a lot about it because I've been teaching YouTube for the past couple years, and I've been teaching a lot about business the past couple years. And I'm very grounded and practical, as you guys may have noticed when you come to my channel. I give practical, grounded strategies. And like the episode we did a couple weeks ago where I talked about the power of actually taking massive mediocre action. So I am very grounded and I am very practical in my teachings, but I'm also to be honest with you, I am also very, very spiritual in my approach, but I'm spiritual in my approach in a way that actually serves both myself and my customer and this time and space realm, and kind of bringing all that stuff together in a practical way. And what I'm going to deliver today is kind of the framework of the love force method that I'm going to be teaching about in my immersion that's coming up. And so I'm just going to pop that really quick on the screen to let you know I have something called the Summer of Love and Profits that's coming very soon. And if you'd like to join the wait list, it's going to be an immersion in a tiny little container that I'm going to be experimenting with, helping business owners to grow in a much deeper capacity than I've ever done before. And it's going to be a really beautiful immersion, blending in what I'm going to be talking about today, blending in the power of love in your business, which is something that up until this point, I think has been really missed and misunderstood and completely left out of the equation when it comes to business. So if you go to brendaturner.com/summer, you'll be able to join the wait list. I'm going to check in on the chat and see who's joined. We've got some people coming in. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into the chat. You can let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to hear from you. Love to see where you're coming in from. Love to see what you're up to, how it's going. So let me know how you're feeling today. Let me know what's going on in your life, maybe in your business. If you want to ask any questions, I'm going to be checking in on the chat for the next little bit of time that we have together. Coming in from Texas, good to see you, Colored Pencils. I'm actually quite sweaty and frizzy. As you know, the summer is here in Texas and it is hot, humid, and frizzy. It's like living in a giant sauna. For anybody who's wondering what it's like to live in Austin, it's kind of like living in a sauna. Okay, and I saw love colored pencils has been actually as a new member in the community, and so it's really nice to see you in here. And so for anybody who's just joining in, it's a pleasure to be with you today and to teach you about how to use the power of love inside of your business in a practical way. Romania, man, high five, virtual high five, coming in from Romania. Great to see you here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the power and the force of love. Is first we have to define what it is. I'm going to point to the moon. Okay. And I know that some of this stuff might seem a little bit intangible, but I promise by the end of the session, you're going to totally get it. So, the force of love, which some people might call God or whatever you would like to call it, you can also call it your intuition. You can also call it the benevolent power within, whatever you would like to call it. I like to call the force that made me love. Now, obviously, this is also really beneficial if you have any religious leanings. This is not going to interfere with any of your ideologies right now. All I'm offering here is love as the all that isness. Okay. And so we're pointing to the moon. There's not really a way to adequately convey what love is without me telling you about a little bit about my story and how I experienced love. So I had clinical depression for a long time in my adult life, completely completely filled with a real dark heaviness. That was just kind of something that I was born with. And I had a couple really deep, intense bouts of clinical depression in my 20s. In fact, much of my 20s, I was clinically depressed. And I had a business then that was doing very well then, and I have a business now that's doing very well now. But what I've learned now, after I had my awakening in 2016, my depression got me down and down and down into this despair where I really was having a hard time being on the planet. But essentially through the necessity of, I had two choices. I could either continue suffering in this terrible way, or I could choose love. Really, I had that awakening, and the awakening was more or less that I had to choose love. I had to really trust love. And so I found that power of love to be the most healing thing in my life. But not only that, to my great surprise, just to get even a little bit more vulnerable with you, before I started teaching the way that I do now in my online business, before I started having clients where I would deliver live immersions, before I started teaching about YouTube to groups of people, like hundreds of people come to my events now, and I'm teaching them and I'm posting their work online, and I'm talking about my clients and I'm talking with my clients. I have this relationship. Before this whole new chapter of my life started back in 2016, where I kind of opened my heart to my work in a whole different way. Work to me felt like, and I don't know if any of you business owners can kind of identify a little bit with this, but work to me felt like a lion chasing me. Okay. And so the lion that was chasing me I was really trying to prove myself to myself. I was really trying to prove I'm good enough to myself. I was trying to prove that I'm smart enough. I was trying to accomplish all this stuff. And the result of that was basically all of my business was this attempt at proving I was good enough to myself and to the world at large. And it was like deep in there. I didn't really know that that's what was driving me, but here's a little clue. This is kind of the first pointer that I'm going to offer you. If you're building your business, operating your business, starting a business, running a business, and it's giving you a sense of anxiety and pressure in your body. Okay, a little bit of stress is healthy. I'm going to put that out there. But if you're feeling every day like you're running from a lion, or you're waking up at 3 a.m. feeling like you have a vice grip on your heart, or like you got a bomb strapped to your chest, which is how I felt for a lot of the first part of my business. It's making all this money. What good does it do me if I'm waking up at 3 a.m. thinking about all this stuff and feeling like I have a lion chasing me every day? That's not loving. Okay. So if you at all identify with that, let me know in the chat if you identify with that. Is any of your business stuff giving you a sense of, anxiety? Are you stressing about your business? Are you stressing about all the overwhelm? Let me know in the chat if you're overwhelmed. This is another signifier. Now, here's another pointer I'm going to give you. So that first thing, are any of you feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, consumed by your business? Perhaps your business is driving you. The drivers that are driving you, like what's driving your business, is perhaps the thing driving your business is this effort to be good enough, or to make enough money so that you finally, quote unquote, feel free, or so that you can figure this whole thing out. That's a huge part of business too, is a lot of people come to business trying to figure out how to make millions of dollars and how to get the profits. So if that's what's driving us, you'll notice in the body that is very unpleasant. That feels like a 5-alarm fire 24/7, 365. And this is the paradigm that most online business and most business in general, but especially online business, this is the paradigm that a lot of online business is kind of being touted as, where the presupposition is um, everyone's being given a ladder to climb. And that is the Alex Hormozy ladder. And I'll love to Alex Hormozy, but many of us business owners, I'm one of these business owners. I don't want a Lamborghini. I don't want the hustle culture. I don't want to wake up with my nervous system feeling like I'm about to jump out of a freaking airplane doing a skydive every single day. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. So that's number one. Those are a couple pointers of the love force based business, the way that we grow our business and grow our profits, the way that I've enjoyed growing profits for especially the past 5, but ever since my awakening, I decided I'm not doing this anymore. I had a lot of hair falling out of my head. I've talked about my alopecia areata. I gave myself autoimmune issues because I was a business owner driven not by love. And there's only 2 options. I know you've heard this, and I never believed it was true, but it is true. There's only either fear or love. And there's also only 2 options. We have openness and expansion or contraction. Those are just to keep it really simple. So I'm going to take it to the chat. How many of you guys, when you're operating your business, do you notice that sometimes you're going into contraction and you're pushing through anyway? This was something I did. I'm going to tell you a quick story. During one of my stretches in my business, where in the beginning, I was a personal trainer and nutritionist here on YouTube. I was like one of the very first ones. And I was working like I talked about how I was really trying to accomplish. I was working sometimes 16 hours a day. There was a time where I realized I didn't know how many days had passed by where I was working on a project. And I would do something like I would stay up until like 5 a.m. to get a project done and to get a video up and to get my website up or to finish up an offer or whatever. And that's not healthy. That's not based in love. So if I had just paid attention and just taken a beat and said, is this being loving? Is this business built on love? Is this business built on something that's actually nourishing to me? Or is it built on fear, contraction? So there was a lot of times where I'd push through that contraction and I was ignoring it and I was treating my body and my being in an unhealthy way. And then the results were I made great money, but then I wasn't enjoying the money. Okay. So the money is the easy part. And we're going to talk about the money in not so long from here, but I want to really emphasize this. Please believe me when I tell you, making money in business is easy once you understand the fundamentals. And I talk a lot about the fundamentals here on this channel, but making money is easy. What's not taught though, and what is a challenge if you don't know what I'm going to teach you today, is making money in this world in a way that also flows into your life, flows into your customer's life, makes the whole thing nice and harmonious so that you're not out of alignment for 60% of your day. It's not always going to be perfect. I don't want to paint a false picture for you. There might be some times when you have to work a little harder than others, and it might not always be in balance. But if we start the lotus position, the center of your being is, if your business is anchored in the force of love, you cannot go wrong, because you are the center. You're the focus point of your business. You're not the star of the business, your customers, but you are the spoke. You're the center of the wheel. And if you're not basing your whole thing in love, all of this, I think these are called spokes, all of the things that emit from your business, they're not going to be as harmonious, as loving, as good as they possibly could be. But if you base all of your situation on love, it changes everything. I tend to contract and then shut down. Yes, Anne, that's exactly right. So yes, sometimes I'm pushing through. Yes, Kimberly, greetings from sunny Arizona. Yes, absolutely. They're coming in from all over Romania. We got Romania. So JKC says, yes, I've been dealing with an insane stalker that tried to ruin my life for the last 3 months, and it's been absolutely exhausting and enraging. Oh no, that's not good at all. I'm really sorry to hear that. But I'm going to give this quick little bit. I'm going to pop Anne on the screen. Anne, thank you so much for that contribution. So everybody, that contraction and expansion, let's go into it right now. Okay. For those of you watching the replay, you can do this while you're driving. You can do this while you're talking. You can do this while you're delivering something to your customers. You can do this when you're creating a video. You can pay attention to, is this a yes or a no? And it's that simple. So this is actually love in action. There are some times where you won't necessarily know why it's a no. But for instance, I could be posting 4 videos a week on YouTube, trying to keep up with the Joneses like I used to. I never really posted on a consistent schedule, but I choose not to do that because I really want to honor the schedule that works for my body. And so I maintain choosing to operate from the space of love. So when you're in yes, when you're in expansion, that's love. This is not woo-woo. If you pay attention, this is the most practical thing you could ever do. If you pay attention, and I want you to just run an experiment for the next 24 hours, just play with this, okay? I want you to listen to this. It's typically in the center line of your body. You have a beautiful GPS right in here, built in. That's the guidance system. That's the wisdom within your body. And it's going to guide your way. And it's expansive when it's a yes. And it's contractive when it's a no. So I learned a lot of this stuff through training with beautiful teachers like Dr. Richard Miller of the iRest Institute. And I trained with a bunch of teachers. When I had my awakening, I wandered around getting all kinds of training for people, trying to figure out, okay, I really want to understand what's happening to me because I'm feeling this sense of joy and peace and expansion. And I want this for everybody who comes into my world. So what exactly is this about? And what I learned is the body is a beautiful vessel that we can actually tap into that has all the answers almost always. And sometimes when we don't know the answers, it's because we're not meant to know them right this second. Okay. So when I say it almost has the answers always, I mean that sometimes there are periods in our lives, and I'm getting off on a tangent, but sometimes there are periods in your life where you have a question that's not meant to be known. The answer isn't meant to be known right this second. And that requires you to trust that uncertain time. That's kind of a chrysalis moment that you're meant to just lay back and relax, leave it alone, get your hands off the thing. Okay, so contraction and expansion, paying attention to contraction and expansion, that's your center of gravity. Now, let's go to love, the love force, the love force framework that I'm going to be teaching this in depth in the immersion that's coming up this summer, but I want to really help you to understand like why, and I'm kind of possessed by this. And I've been kind of possessed by the power of love for the last like 8 years or so. And I'm kind of possessed by it because I see it's universally applicable. It's applicable to new business owners, advanced business owners. It's applicable to any business problem, any problem you're having in your business. So I want to offer you the next kind of area that all of the stuff that I'm going to be diving deeply into the upcoming immersion, how this applies to, let's take it to your profits. Okay. Now, how many of you have noticed there are 1,000,001 different kind of offer structures, and there's 1,000,001 different ways to run a business. Every single business is so unique. There's lots of different things that we can offer the world. And there's lots of different things that can make us money. So when I said the money is the easy part, it is the easy part if you listen carefully to what I'm about to say. So a lot of business owners are getting on the internet and growing their business online, which I am so here for it. I am so excited in this time and space realm. Right now, there's never been a better time to be a business owner. And I rejoice in the fact that there are many people starting and growing their businesses online. However, I think sometimes we're missing the point. And when we actually anchor into the key point of what we're doing here, I think what comes out of that, what flows out and through you as a business owner, when you're really clear on what we're doing here, and you actually get to the point of the thing instead of chasing the wrong targets, you'll find your profits grow with ease. Doesn't mean you're not going to have to work for it, but they'll grow with ease. So let me explain. A lot of people are getting on the internet and they're trying to get lots of views. Okay. And they're trying to get lots of likes on Instagram, and they're trying to get lots of engagement, and they're trying to kind of play all the games that the tech giants have. The tech giants have these little games they want all of us online business owners playing. And there are a lot of business owners they're not wrong. And nobody here, if you're paying attention to any of that stuff, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying if you make the focus point of your day's work that let me be a source of love for the customers that I'm put here to serve, how can I do that? And I'm going to give you the quick prompt that I like to use is who can I help today and how can I help them? It's that simple as well. So if we take it really stripped down to, is this opening me or contracting me? Who can I help and how can I help them? What am I here to do today? What can I really bring today? This is not airy, fairy, fluffy stuff. This is practical, tangible stuff that will grow your business, because watch the magic of this. I'd love to hear in the chat, as I'm explaining this, please put in the chat, what is something that came to mind that recently, that you were called to help people with or put out into the world, or a video topic or whatever. I'd love to hear in the chat. But here's what happens. A lot of business owners are like, how can I get the most views? And I'm not saying that's you, but it might be. You might be operating like this on accident. How can I get the most views? Or how can I grow my profits? Or how can I double my profits this month? There's nothing wrong with that question, but I'm going to show you instead the way that thinking kind of blocks our profits. It kind of blocks our profits when we're saying, how can I double my profits? How can I get more views? How can I grow my online business? That general kind of like seeking for the business success, that keeps us seeking off in the horizon, when we actually need to arrive here now. And let's pretend like your customer's right in front of you right now and they really need your help. And this is a stance I like to take, especially with your online business. So that means with your content, pretending like your customer is in front of you right now, they really need to hear something you have to say. This is such a big shift. So a love force business method, that love force, if you genuinely, sincerely bring offers, solutions, experiences like the one that I'm giving you now, please copy this. Please start doing live streams for your people in a way that's really bringing them something that will hopefully this is helpful for you. And that's kind of my MO. And I hope that you copy me as your coach. I'm telling you, please copy me. Please deliver helpful messages to your people, because you're put here to do that. If we shift into that love force and stop stressing about all the other nonsense, it elevates you by default, and your people will find you and they will love you because you're giving them love. So love begets love, begets love, begets love, begets love. And your profits start to grow because you're thinking in a different way. So here's another example. I get all excited because there's just too much to cover, but a lot of business owners, when it comes to online business, they're thinking, oh no, what if I look stupid? What if they don't buy it? What if it fails? What if this or that? What if, or There's a lot of other things business owners think about. The business owners who already have the 6 and 7 figures, they're thinking, how am I going to have enough time in the day? Like, there's all these thoughts that go on in our heads. If we snap ourselves out of it by asking the basic question that I gave, who can I help and how can I help them? We really take the center off of ourselves and put it onto those people and start, caring about, not that we don't care, but I'm saying caring about, like, putting all that stuff aside and saying, I do care about that stuff. It's fine to care about that stuff, but let's really focus on what actually matters. And so that's kind of the starting point. Okay. One more thing that I would like to mention, just in practical terms, is a lot of people are creating offers. I see this so often. A lot of people are creating offers that they're not in love with because it makes good money. A lot of business owners are creating offers that make decent money. They're in the 6 figures, or even like the high 5 figures, 6 figures, mid 6 figures, whatever. I've seen it all. For the past couple of years, a lot of business owners come to me with all kinds of businesses. And one thing that we want to be really careful of is when you're creating offers that you don't really love. Oh my goodness, that's tricky. That's tricky. And that's taking the concept that I started with, where it's a lot of fear-based stuff. And it's really kind of painting yourself into a corner where, oh no, you love your customers. You might love what you're doing in general, but the particular offer that you're giving, you're not really in love with it. And if you've ever been in a relationship that you don't love, that it's time to end it, but you keep going on and on and on and on and on, that's actually something that makes people sick. That leads to illness. So if you're offering something in your business, even if it makes great money right now, what I'd like to invite you, just I'm going to give a little invitation, a little experiment. Is it possible not to just shut it all down, but is it possible that you might want to start playing with, what would I love to offer? Not only what would I love to offer, what would my people really love from me? What could be a win-win-win? What could be a win-win-win? It's great for me. It's great for them. It makes great money. I'm enjoying the whole thing. This is a love force. Now you don't have, when you're creating an offer that you're like, oh, but it makes some money. That's like holding on to the guy or the girl that is not your person. And you're like, I don't know. And then meanwhile, your dream partner is in a holding pattern. The universe has got them in a holding pattern. They would love to give you that dream person. So there's a dream offer you could be delivering out into the world. And you're taking up a lot of your time focused on an offer that you're not really in love with. And as an aside, if you're not really in love with your offer, your customers can feel that. And it really does impact the whole thing. If you've ever been in a room with another person, especially those of you who are in here now, you are very sensitive. You're very intuitive. You can pick up on things, and you can kind of sense when you're in a room with somebody and they're saying something and it's not quite in harmony. So when you're trying to sell something that you don't really love, people can really pick up on that. So be very careful with your offers. Ask yourself, go through your offers in your business and say, do I really love this? And if you don't really love it, the good news is when you lean into offering something that you really, really love, and not just that you really, really love, but that your people really, really love, now you're getting into a love force. It becomes an irresistible magnet for people. Same thing with your content. Let's take it to content. If you create your content with love, if you love your content, do you love your content? Do you love it? Do you really love the process of creating it? Do you love the process of delivering it? Are you loving what you're talking about? Does it feel like home for you? Are you really lit up by it? If you're not really enjoying the content, my friend, that's a really big profit block. Huge profit block. One of the easiest ways to grow your profits in your business is to start creating content that you love. I'm very tempted to pull up my Instagram profile to show you. Actually, I am going to do it. I'm going to pull up my Instagram profile, everybody. So just briefly, let me pull up my Instagram profile so that I can show you what I mean by this. Well, there's nothing wrong with being on Instagram. Okay. This is not a make wrong. And if those of you who are on Instagram are in love with the Instagram stuff, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to show you really quick why my profile. I'm going to show you my profile, and I'm going to show you what that looks like for me. I don't love Instagram. So this is my profile on Instagram. I have one pinned post. I don't love creating reels. It's not my bag. There's nothing wrong if you do, but it's not my bag. It's not my favorite thing in the world. So I choose to keep my Instagram profile very curated, meaning I have one post. There was a time where I had a couple other posts on here, but I just don't really love it. And so sometimes I get on here and I post an event and I'm like, here's an event. I'm doing an event. And every so often I might get on here and post a little something. But by and large, I'm not posting on Instagram because I don't really love Instagram. And so that's just my MO on it. And so let me pull up the Summer of Love immersion waitlist. I'm just going to pull that up really quick. For those of you who would like to go deeper with me this summer and learn more about building your business and increasing your profits with the power of love, you can go to brendaturner.com/summer and join the waitlist. I'm going to be opening the doors, and I'm going to really keep this container super, super tight because this is the first time I'm teaching this material. So if you'd like to join me, join the waitlist so that I can send you an invite to your inbox. I'm going to check in with the comments really quick. I quit Insta the same time I quit drinking. Congratulations. That's great, Kat. I'm always embarrassed about charging for my help. It's not the thing. It's the money that I'm asking. Oh yeah, that's a big one. That'll block your profits. You concentrate on the sole point of success. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I'd like to just really quick explain that for me, I have a deep appreciation for the whole human experience. And I don't like to separate business as some kind of a cold, sterile spreadsheet experience and business as a concept of like quote unquote work. I love work, but being a whole human being for me, this is not me proselytizing to anybody else. Everybody's got their own path. But for me, the whole human experience involves emotions. It involves intuition. It involves a sacred connection with that which cannot be named, which I'm calling love today. The source that I feel pumping my heart. It involves all of these creative processes that I talk about on my channel. It involves a devotion to get the work done. It involves actually living with those ups and downs. There are times in my life where my mood dips. That's part of the human experience. And then there are times when it's up. There are times when life feels very painful. And there are times when it feels magnificent. And being in this experience and the wholeness of it, I don't feel that business and profits and wealth are separate from just being a human being. I feel that the spiritual, when I talk about spirituality, this is not the right or the wrong way, but this is just my own way. I just experience the spirituality that I speak about on my channel. It's not just like so that we can sit in meditation and be in bliss and all that stuff. It's for me and for the people that I serve. I'm hoping that the spiritual things I talk about helps you to actually practically live your life in a way that makes it a little bit easier to go through those ups and downs. And to make those profits so that you can enjoy your time freedom and to enjoy that time freedom in whatever way you'd like to do it and to have some equanimity in the whole thing. So for me, I talk about spirituality because for me, it's just my natural proclivity to be in that wholeness, to be in the whole human experience. And I feel like it would be so weird for me to talk about business and not talk about the truth of how I operate the business. So I'm very grounded with it in that I actually think taking action is like the whole point. Like I talked about in the manifestation video, taking action is the whole point of the thing. I believe that we are so much in relationship with the divine beloved in this journey. And I believe that we are, all of us, creating and experiencing and out picturing like all the beautiful aspects of us. And this is a really great place to kind of, this is a really important point about the love force method that I'm going to be teaching this summer. So it's very important to realize that no matter what your spiritual leanings are, really, no matter what your ideology is, there's an aspect of every human being. There's like this beautiful potential that all of us know we have. There's a level that we could, all of us, be living at. And I'm not talking about achievement here. I'm talking about the fullest expression of all those things you would like to put out into the world. All of us human beings are born with that. Business owners happen to be very creative. We happen to have a unique kind of art, and that is we want to take what we've experienced in our own lives, make lemonade from it, and give it to other people. And so in all of us, in the heart of each person, lies this beautiful, perfect pearl, gem, diamond, whatever you'd like to call it. It's the most magnificent thing, and each and every one of us is born with that. This is not a fluffy, airy-fairy idea. This is something you can experience right now in this moment. You have it in here now. You know you do, or else you wouldn't be putting forth the effort to do the work. And so I believe that the journey, the actual journey of every person who's called to create a business, the journey isn't so much about getting the profits. The profits are really nice. It really is. I think the journey for all of us who are gathered here today, anybody who's called to create a business, the journey is to see really what you're made of. Not in like a see what you're made of, like tough guy thing, to see what you're truly made of. To experience it, to say, wow, I didn't even know I could do that. Wow, look at that thing I made. Wow, look at these people gathered in front of me, listening to me talk. Who would have thought that I had something important to say, you know? Wow, look at those thoughts going on in the paper. Wow, look at that video I got posted that I'm proud of. Wow, look at the mosaic of my work that I've accomplished over the last couple years. Wow, look at that. Even the profits at that point then become, oh, you're experiencing that you know what you're made of. To me, that's the whole point of the journey at this point. So the love force that was missing from my life, I was really disconnected in the first half of my business and the first half of my life, really. I was so disconnected from the capital T truth, the love that's always here, always, always, always. And I was really operating from that fear place. And now I'm doing the same kind of work, but it's more from a love. And I'm letting love guide the way. And I'm kind of going like this with it. And I'm doing the work, but for me, it's the most exhilarating ride is letting love pour through me and saying, okay, well, what does love want today? And sometimes love doesn't want to have anything to do with creating YouTube videos, but most of the time for me and for the clients I serve, love is really trying to pour through you and through me in a way that's very magnificent. So that usually for teachers and leaders who follow me, that usually involves some kind of a creative process where you're getting your work out into the world on a regular basis, whatever that might be, teaching people, offering services, offering experiences, offering even products, books. There's all kinds of teachers and leaders that I've worked with over the last couple of years. And when you really just make it like a hard and fast choice that I'm going to be serving from the power and source of love from this point forward. And love is my co-pilot. Love is the force that's running my business, not fear, not stress, not overwhelm, not anxiety, then you can start making decisions from that loving place. If you're feeling overwhelmed, perhaps you need to hire help. We talk about that in the immersion. I'm going to teach everybody how to hire and delegate. Perhaps I need to be offering something different if my business is stressing me out. And for instance, this is a common one. I have tons of business owners who are offering one-to-one services, and that can be very stressful. So perhaps you could change your business model. Perhaps you could do an offer that would make you a lot more money with a lot less time exchange. There's so many different ways that we could apply love to our business, and it really does make it so simple. The last thing I wanted to leave you with is, if you're doing this whole business thing just for love, like this is just the experiment that I'm going to give to you for the next 24 hours. Just try it out. If love is your motivating factor, I want you to watch what happens. You'll see what I mean in a second. And perhaps you might not see what I mean in a second, but you'll see what I mean in the next day. Just try this out as an experiment. If you make the end goal that there is not really a goal, like I want you to set goals, but I want you to try this out. There's not really an end goal, and you're not really doing your business for any other reason than that you just want to give love, and not even just give love. You want to experience the love within yourself. I know that's a wild concept and it almost sounds ridiculous. But if you can do this whole thing and not give a shit about the money, excuse my language, but there's no better phrase that I can think of in this moment than if you could just stop giving a shit about the money and about the business, like success. It's funny that then all of a sudden, when you make love the center, then all of a sudden the business success and the profits really do start compounding in a way that's like miraculous, truly. Same thing with everything. We could take this to the gym as well. If you go to the gym and say, I'm not going to the gym to lose weight, I'm just going for love. I'm going to experience love pouring through me. I know that sounds really airy-fairy, but just try it out. Here's my guess. I guess that anybody you take two people, you put them side by side and you say, okay, you do the pull-ups for no other reason than you're just going to experience love. You do the pull-ups because you want to, and then give some other reason. I don't know. I have a feeling that it would be the love would win out every time. That's just my guess. Okay, everybody. So does anybody have any questions before I head out? I'm about to head out into the sauna that is Texas. And one more time before I do that, I just want to remind everybody, there is a wait list that is now open for the Summer of Love. And you can go to brendaturner.com/summer. There's a little join the wait list area. When you join the wait list, you will get a free gift. And that's going to be something that'll kind of give you a little bridge in between now and when the immersion starts. The immersion is going to be starting soon. I don't have a definite date just yet because I'm a commitment phobe, but it should be up in the next 2 weeks or so. So I'll be sending out tickets are for sale email, and those who are on the wait list, they get first priority. And when the tickets are sold out, they're sold out. And I won't be having another summer immersion until next summer. So if you'd like to work with me this summer, having a summer immersion so that you can grow your profits with the power of love, go to brendaturner.com/summer. Let's see if there's any questions. And if there's not, no big deal. Let's see here. It looks like we're all good. No questions. And I'm all trained out. I gave you guys everything that I had to offer in terms of everything I wrote down, everything I could remember. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was really nice hanging with everybody. And I will see you guys in the next live session, or hopefully in the Summer of Love and Profits. Bye, everybody.